All right, so I'm going to be doing a VOD review for uh, OWFUTA. Okay, anyways, it says you've been gold 1 to plat 3 this season on Ramatra, and you feel like you've hit its stump. I don't know how long you've been playing for, but this is about average. I think technically it's about slightly above average. I'm not sure offhand exactly what the rank distribution looks like, but I believe like mid gold is now average-ish. So I guess you can take a bit of pride in being, I guess, at least slightly above average. Um, Anyways, it says you feel like you have to solo carry the entire game in order to make things happen. Yeah, well, you sometimes will get in games where if you want to win, you're just gonna have to like solo carry and deadlift your team. It's just the ranked experience in any single game. And Overwatch is no exception in this regard, right? Some games will just be very difficult to win. Some people say every game's winnable. I don't necessarily agree. But the vast majority are winnable if you play well enough, right? Especially if like you're not near your, I guess, quote unquote max rank or whatever. More games become more winnable because it's the enemy team makes more mistakes and is like more lenient on your ability to carry, right? So that's just kind of the mentality you have to have when you play ranked games, right? You cannot strive for like a 100% win rate. It's just not possible, right? Yeah. It says your stats were through the roof. You're doubling the other tank's damage, even though they were countering. I watched the gameplay, the vast majority of it. And you have to understand, Hog is a tank that you can easily farm damage off of, right? Hog is actually not a very high DPS tank, because a lot of his value comes through just like one-shotting people, right? So Hog can like hard carry a fight literally by like doing 250 damage and then like walking forward and distracting people, right? Whereas on Ramatra, like I guess technically if someone's AFK, you can do the same thing, but realistically that's not going to happen, right? And Hog's also very easy to farm for damage, right? Because he doesn't have a shield. His damage mitigation tools aren't great, and he has a lot of health, no armor. So he's like super easy to farm damage off of, right? Whereas Ramatra is a lot tougher to farm damage off of, right? Especially like you have shield and you have like a 75% damage mitigation tool, pretty much like permanently available if you cycle your cooldowns well. Um, yeah, which makes it basically impossible for people to like farm damage off of you, right? Especially, and you also have a lot of armor, like the Hog matchup, and Hog's gun does like 0 damage against armor, right? It's like really, really bad. It pretty much does like half damage against armor. So just some things to keep in mind. Like this is why you can't just look at stats in a vacuum because there's too much context and too much nuance from, from saying, oh, I have doubled the enemy tank's damage compared to understanding like what are the reasons that could possibly be the case, right? Like I said earlier, Hog can just win fights immediately just from getting one pick, whereas like Ramatra, like that's realistically not going to happen, right? You can't just like cut through healing like Hog can. Yeah, so just so like that's something you should be keeping in mind, right? Um, it says here you think your Ana and your Tracer, whatever, I guess, were underperforming. Allowing their Moira to frontline. Well, part of that is also the part of the blame for allowing the Moira to frontline is also on you, right? It says you think that threw off your mechanics, but that shouldn't be your like um response to the frontlining Moira, right? Like I get at one time if the Moira is just randomly frontlining, it might throw you off, but I agree she was frontlining the entire game. And the problem is you're just missing her a lot, right? Consistently, and also taking engagements with her when your team wasn't able to help you, right? Yeah, I'll like go into depth in that when the time comes, right? To kind of explain what I mean. But Moira can be kind of like annoying for a lot of tanks to kill that lack a lot of burst damage, right? Because she has self-sustain from her attack, right? And she can also like fade and then use her healing orb, and she's like almost indestructible for a lot of tanks to deal with. And Ramatra is kind of like that, right? Like your damage per second, especially in your punch mode, is actually not very high, right? I think it's only like 80-ish, something like that. And Moira can heal that off, right? It's kind of the same thing as Hog. Like you can farm damage against them, but you just can't kill them, right? Because they can just heal off all your damage because it's not very high, right? So you just have to look for value in other ways than just like trying to necessarily always just 1v1 these people, right? You have to play in positions where your team can help you. Is the short end of it, right? Anyways, you know, I said I watched basically the entire replay. I'd say I usually give people 3 pointers, but I'd say you should really be focusing on just these 2 things, which are firstly, your cooldown usage like needs a lot of work, right? If you basically unbound your E button, I assume this is PC, your vortex button, I don't think you would have noticed any difference in the outcome of this match, right? You just kind of like throw it across the map randomly all the time, right? And you're not like looking for actual opportunities to like slow people down, to like, you know, make it easier for you to shoot them, or, you know, keep them in the open longer so it's easier for you and your team both to shoot them, right? Or to like block their mobility, right? I mean, it's not really relevant against their comp in particular, you know, the mobility thing. But like, you know, you're just kind of throwing it haphazardly across the map over and over again, right? Your shield usage similarly needs a lot of work, right? I mean, I literally think over half your shields this game, you use your shield and you just immediately like walk away from it, right? I mean, you like put it down, it gets no value, and you realize this as you do it, and you just like stop using it. So like the solution for that is to just look for better opportunities to shield. And yeah, do that, right? So a better opportunity to shield would be like I'll hopefully go to a point where you could shield, right? Let's let it play out here. Okay, so like this is not a good shield, right? Because like, you can't see anything with this because they're already behind cover, right? Alternatively, what you could do right now is swing the corner, right? Use the shield almost like an extension of the map. So you put the shield here, right? And now you have the option of either ignoring the Reaper, right? And just farming, like, for example, the Life Weaver or the Hog, or using the shield to block off all damage from the Weaver and Hog and Ana, and just farming the Reaper out, or like forcing him out, and then turning to shoot someone else, right? Like there's kind of your options if you were to shield like this area here. But you see, when you shield here, like they're already out of your LOS, and you can't impact the fight from the shield, right? So yeah, I hope that's like a good example. I don't think I'll be stopping over and over again as the replay continues, right? But that's kind of what you want to be looking for when you use shield, right? Use it to kind of like open up the map so you're not like in risk of getting stunned or like damage dumped, right? Second big problem, your target priority needs a lot of work. You're shooting this Hog a lot, and if he was a better player, he'd like just be taking cover from you a lot more, or just realizing he can just walk into you and blow you up much more often than he is right now, right? There's so many times where people like are in front of your screen and you're literally like standing right next to them, and you're just continuously shooting the like full HP Hog. When you could just be ending these fights much sooner if you literally just shot someone else, right? I know it might sound disappointing, but your damage would be low if you did this, but you just win every fight, like literally, like immediately, if you just literally shot people that aren't the Hog when they give you the opportunity to do so, right? So this one I'll have to like watch the replay to show you, you know, like actual examples of when this happens, right? But I'm sure you see, it happens all the time. Anyways, nothing you can do about that. I don't know why he just immediately died there. That's really random, but in all fairness, you probably should have been walking forward a little sooner, right? No reason to be AFK and spawn at the start, but I think even if you were there sooner, he ran. He would have run past you anyways and like killed himself anyway, so. I would say against Hog, right? Hog's a character you want to go fast against, right? I mean, Ramatra kind of has. I should have brought this up earlier, but in the matchup, like you think you have like this poke tool, which you kind of do against certain tanks, right? You can like spam them down from a distance, and you can like get good value against them. But in Hog, it's kind of like almost counterintuitive because like you can farm them for damage at a distance, but your damage per second isn't like outstanding, and your like projectile, even against a big target like Hog, is actually still pretty inconsistent. And when you play slow against Hog, you give them like a million opportunities just to like hook someone to your backline and immediately win the fight, right? The key to playing against Hog is just to run as close as possible to him as soon as possible, and just like force him away and start like pressuring his backline really, really hard, right? Obviously easier said than done sometimes, but you know that's the gist of it, right? I will say that was not a good shield because like you see, like you couldn't pressure anything. off that shield. Right? Be careful doing this. Their Mei still has her wall, right? You need to be more cognizant of what cooldowns they have. Like, she's doing this rotation here for no reason, but she could still wall you right now. You get walled, you get hooked, and you explode, right? You just need to be more cognizant of the cooldowns, right? Again, right, this is a position where, like, you just throw your vortex for no reason. I'm gonna, like, make a big note out of it. This time, similarly like your shield, I think as the replay goes on, I don't want to like belabor the point too much, but you see you're just kind of like randomly throwing it when you see anyone, right? Like it's almost like you're playing like a one-shot character, and you're just like, you know, flinging out like these Hanzo arrows or something, right? In the hopes that you'll just randomly get a kill from your vortex, but it's just like Ramatra is not that type of character, and that's not that type of cooldown, right? Like you just get no value out of it. He's just already running away, right? Okay, we already went over this shield, right? So you literally can't do that, right? Here, don't push like this without your punch mode, right? This hog has hook, or he's going to if he doesn't. Yeah, he has hook right now. And you're just running in and you don't have your punch mode right now. So you're very like vulnerable to just getting blown up, right? You have like probably the lowest HP of all tanks in the entire roster when you don't have your Nemesis form. So, like, if you just run in like this, expect to die every single time, right? It's actually a miracle that you don't die right here, right? This guy, let me show you from his perspective, like, how long he's sitting on hook here for, right? So... Okay, I went a little too far back, that's alright. In all fairness, the pedal kind of messed him up. You see, he's just staying on the hook, literally for like a good 2 or 3 seconds. And he also misses a lot of projectiles, right? And that's still only considering the 1v1, right? Imagine if instead of like healing, this Ana shot you one time, right? You just would have died there because you're pushing forward like a little too early without your Nemesis form. Okay, I think you accidentally killed that guy. Again, right? You see, like this is a really good highlight of you just like, yeah, you accidentally killed that guy. That's kind of funny. This is like a good position to show you like you shouldn't really be pushing right now anyways, because you're low and like yeah, you're forced to block because you decided to push when you're low without your cooldowns to begin with. Let's assume you're gonna push right now anyways, because you know you are anyways. You see the Life Weaver was literally right behind the hog, and instead of turning for this Weaver, which, you know, the Weaver and the Ana both can just pocket this hog and make him like, literally you will never kill him, right? If hog is getting pocketed, you cannot, by Ana Weaver, you like mathematically cannot kill hog ever. Obviously, like that's like a 1v3 scenario, but it just goes to show you like that you're just completely wasting your time shooting this hog, right? Again, just throw your vortex for no reason, right? I would say, like, in your post, you're saying you feel like you have to do anything, but you really haven't accomplished anything in this fight, right? I mean, yeah, you're farming this hog, but, like, if the tanks are both just shooting each other and just wasting each other's time, right? And I will mention, this hog also had the opportunity to easily kill you. He just kind of messed up big time. His mechanics, I should say. Like, it's just kind of up to your team to do something, right? Like, you're both kind of taking an equal amount of resources from your team, right? You're both pretty much getting hard pocketed by your supports, and your teammates killed, right? I think they killed the Mei, and then you accidentally killed the Reaper, but your team is the one that forced the Reaper out in the first place, right? So, like, your team is actually the one that, like, got all the value of this fight. You pretty much just traded with the hog. And you just happen to like mess up, right? Let you get away. This is okay here, right? Ideally, you should be pushing forward, but it's never the wrong option to just play objective, right? As tank in these positions, if you want to rank up and carry, you should be looking to press pressure forward, right, when they're down players. But it's much more safe to just play objective, right? Usually, sometimes when you, I'll say that because usually sometimes if you go too far forward as tank, right, you'll bait your team to like overextend with you, and you might not die for it, but your teammates will die for it too because they'll be too overextended. So just something to keep in mind in the future, right? Unfortunately, your soldier, I think, ends up dying again here for no reason. See, like I don't know what this guy's doing. Anyways, you see, you're just throwing your stuff across the map, but you like they literally gets no value, right? Like this is another instance where you put up the shield and you just literally walk away from it, right? Because you literally can't see it. Here, right? You push forward without your cooldowns, and you also just don't respect the fact that the Mei has the wall, right? Like this is kind of just a really annoying choke to get through with when they're running Mei, because she has walls here, and like there's literally nothing you can do, right? You just have to bait it out prior, or at least bait out hook or something, so that lets you survive. Right? Not really good shield. Even if you get hooked there, like nothing's gonna happen. Careful, she has wall still. I don't know why she didn't wall. Right, not a great shield. I'll say here, right, use the map as your shield, right? I mean, obviously it's not literally a shield, but you see this shield is basically it's not literally the same size as cart. But you can functionally use the cart as a shield without having to use your cooldowns, right? If you literally just walk on either side of the cart, it's literally the same size as your shield. And you can still dance around a cart to try to like get value by like shooting this hog off the choke so you can actually walk through. Here, not a great ult, right? Your soldier literally killed two. I mean, granted, the hog died like the moment you popped ult, but you saw the hog was already really weak, so why are we ulting here, right? Especially because you already committed nano visor to this fight. That's just not working. Right? You see, that was a pretty good vortex. It's actually your first good vortex this game, right? You see, it could have been like slightly better. I'm not going to nitpick, but you see the Reaper's overextended in the open, right? You throw it here, right? So if he backs up this way, he gets slowed. If he backs up this way, he gets slowed, right? If he walks in, obviously he gets slowed. So you completely like ruin every option he has, and you just get like a really easy kill, right? As tank, you should just literally hold W into this life weaver, right? It's literally impossible for him to kill you. There's a chance your soldier dies there in that 1v1. But if you literally walk into him, right, you're not going to miss as much, and you'll like body block your soldier, right? Especially because you've seen your soldier literally just run in and die 2 times this game already, so like you might as well like try to, you know, take every opportunity to not let that happen. Right? This shield's okay, right? I say it's okay here because you kind of do the right thing. You extend the map, right? I mean, like the exact specifics of it aren't like the best, but you see you have options right now, right? You can walk here, shoot the hog, shoot the Kiri, right? And if it was slightly better, you could have come out and shot the Mei, right? You have options here, but you waste time shooting the trap, right? But like he can't do anything with the trap because you have a shield point, right? You see, like even here, you see you put down a decent shield, right? And you see you actually use it this time, right? That's kind of crazy, because that's the first time this game where you haven't like really just walked away from the shield. Okay, good dodge. This is a position where you can just walk at this Reaper, right? You saw the hog use his hook, and you saw this guy have no wraith, right? This is a timing where you can just walk at this guy and just punish him for having no cooldowns, like, and being overextended, right? See, when you miss out on opportunities to punish people, they get their cooldowns back. Like this Reaper's probably second or two, or he has it back already. It's second or two from Wraith, I was going to say, but he has it back. So you've completely like blown your opportunity to punish this guy for being overextended without his Wraith, right? And now you commit your punch mode on this Mei that has her cryo, right? Like it's not the end of the world to like go for cooldown trades, but ideally you want to be using your Nemesis form on people that have already used their survivability cooldowns to like guarantee the kill, right? Your staff is kind of like your poke tool to like force out cooldowns in the first place, right? Because it's less consistent, but does more damage, so it's better forcing out cooldowns, like bait people into think they're gonna die, and then you use your Nemesis form to like get the guaranteed kill, right? Because you're like not gonna really miss with your punch mode, right? It's pretty forgiving. Obviously it's not always the case. But that's like the ideal scenario what you want to do, right? But when you do stuff like this, you're basically just trading your consistent kill ability in your Nemesis form for their like consistent survivability cooldown, like Ice Block or Wraith. Or later, you're having trouble with a Moira because you keep using your Nemesis form when she has Fade. She just escapes, right? Which gives you like no consistent option to punish them after their cooldowns are done with, right? It's a waste of time just staring at this guy, especially because you committed Nemesis form. Don't just stare at the Ice Block, right? I mean, literally do something else. can't like damage her and ice block him. Unfortunate. You shouldn't have woken him up. We kind of like were already spamming him. She slept him. Unfortunate. Again, right? You see the Reaper is to your side. Why are we shooting the Hog? Actually, a good tank 101 thing is use cover when you can, right? This hasn't even really come up this game yet because you've been so focused on everything else. But if you literally just stand here and don't move and just shoot the Reaper out, if these people want to attack you, right? Obviously, you'd be like standing here, so they can't just see you. They'd have to like come all the way over here, which I'm sure you can see now. If they do that, they can get shot by your entire backline, right? Whereas if you were just playing the corner well and just sit here and force the Reaper out, you can only take damage from the Reaper, and you're just not going to die to a Reaper when you have both your supports online, right? It's literally impossible, right? I'll say obviously like that's something you should keep in mind going forward in the future. If you really want to get better at tank, that's something you'll have to do very consistently. You know, just keep in mind where people's LOS is and like trying to like bypass it as consistently as possible. But like that's kind of secondary to like the big problem here. If you're just trying to like farm this hog for no reason. Let's say the Kiri teleported in front of your face, right? You had the opportunity to kill her. I thought you were accidentally. I thought you were going to accidentally kill the Kiri again here, like you accidentally killed her. Didn't happen this time. Okay, the Kiri's crazy. Fortunately, she gives you that ability just to insta-kill again. I would say, I think if you didn't panic here, you probably could have kept. Maybe not. No, it's okay. Never mind. I was gonna say maybe you could have kept walking to the left. That's okay though. Right. Okay, good. You get the kill on the Kiri, right? I'm sure you can see you had a lot more opportunities, like 10 seconds prior, to get the kill on her or kill on someone a lot earlier, right? A lot of times, every like few seconds count. Right, really low value. If you can't see an opportunity to use your cooldowns, it's okay just to wait a second or two to wait from the walk up, right? Like imagine instead of throwing your thing up here, you just throw it like right here in this general area right now. So you split the Reaper from his team and get like guaranteed value that way, right? Farm your ult a bit, farm the Hog. Well, I guess you have the ult already, but that's what you want to be doing. Right, you have the better opportunity to shoot the Reaper instead of the Hog. Right. No reason to ult the Hog, right? Your ult does like no damage to tanks, so it does like 30 DPS, right? So you just kind of waste your ult on the Hog. He's like full HP already, and he's Weaver, so he can get gripped away. And like I said, the whatever the purple stuff only does like 30 damage per second, and your punch mode again only does 80. So it literally will take you like if the Hog's getting healed, like again, you would just not be able to actually kill him, right? I mean, mathematically impossible. Say this is very dangerous. You're kind of overextended because you decided to like full commit on this Hog for no reason. If he's better, he hooks you into that like death pit to your left, or to his left right there, right? So he's just kind of dancing around the open for no reason. He's just sitting on his hook. Not what you want to be doing on a Hog, but that's beside the point, right? Gives you the opportunity to run away. I think the shield's okay, right? Because you don't want to get hooked in. Definitely keep killed. Okay, good. You actually go for the Kiri here this time, right? I like that. You see the Kiri teleports and you actually like commit on her. Very good. I think that's like literally the first time you've done that all game. Intentionally, I should say. That's okay. He's overextended. Might as well secure the kill. In the future, it can be okay to cancel your Nemesis form early, right? If you know they have all their cooldowns. Just to get it back sooner, right? Like if you use it to secure a kill and you know you can't kill anyone else with it, right? Like you know this May has ice block and you saw she was like full HP when she was walking forward. Just cancel it if you have shield, right? Because you can use shield and get your Nemesis form back in step sooner, right? Don't waste your time looking at her, right? There's still a Reaper alive, their entire team except their Hog's still alive, so she's just wasting your time, right? Here, when he's in Wraith reload, unfortunately Reaper, when he ults, is kind of like, kind of like Hog, where he's basically indestructible, right? Like with all of his self heal, and he's also getting healed by the Moira. You just can't do enough damage to actually kill him, especially in Nemesis form. You might be able to kill him if you shoot him in the head with your staff, because he like can't move either, right? So something to keep in mind in the future. Unfortunately, like your team just kind of dies, right? That's kind of the problem. Pushing these last points. Again, right? You see, look how free these people are right now, right? Like literally, you're in LOS of their entire team, except you know the people that like the Weaver jumped away and the Maze here. But literally, shoot anyone beside the Hog. Like he's full HP, he's getting healed by the Weaver. Just do something else, right? You're right. You should focus the Hog, right? You don't force anyone else's cooldowns out. So like they're not scared of you, right? They know they can't get killed by you. Here, don't commit. Alright, down with soldier. Way to do this here. Alright, don't commit to this, right? You see you're committing with too low HP again, right? Hog punishes you for it, right? When you're down players, you just gotta get out, right? Especially, they already committed coalescence. If you just ran away there, you would have lived. You just would have wasted their ult. Fortunately, I think your Kiri also ulted for some reason. Nothing you can really do about that, though. I would say, actually, I take that back. Because you continue to try to fight, that may have baited your Kiri into ulting, right? Maybe, maybe not. You know, it's impossible to know because you're not a mind reader, right? Yeah, something to keep in mind. Like, if you remember earlier when you were on first point, capping, I told you if you like overextend, sometimes it'll bait your teammates into thinking you're pushing. That might have been that kind of moment right there, right? Obviously not a very good shield. Okay, really good vortex, right? Do a lot of damage. Yeah, that's an awful nano, unfortunately. I don't know about that ult either. I would have tried to greet it. Because like tree kind of nullifies it, right? I don't know the exact healing per second of tree, but like I'm pretty sure it basically negates all your area of effect damage, right? It definitely heals more than 38 healing per second, right? They're probably like basically unkillable for you in tree, right? Unless someone else on your team is shooting them. Yeah. Not the end of the world, right? You still force out 2 ults, so it's like not that bad. But it's really bad nano. Okay, nice. That's crazy. He could have definitely healed that all, but unfortunate. Just had to be a bit faster. I know what you're trying to do there. Cancel your thing, so. Hopefully that has been pretty enlightening so far, right? You gonna say that right? Obviously not a good shield, right? So you literally can't do anything. I'm not gonna explain too much more why. See, shields, I haven't brought this up, but shields on a really long cooldown, and it's not something you want to waste, because you see they're walking forward now, so if you want to survive, you have to use your Nemesis form in a position where they can just kite it, right? Which is, like, really bad. Let's say in the tank matchup, Sig is basically like how you play against Hog, right? He wants to play slow, and as Ramatra, you kind of have that flexibility to, like, force fights quickly, you know, with your Nemesis form. Oh yeah, you kind of just Sig is like honestly Ramatra's kind of annoying for Sigma. Guess you can just like go through his shield, and go through his grasp or whatever I think it's called, kinetic grasp. Yeah, which pretty much like cuts his health in half, right? Which is like really annoying. Right? It's kind of on him to keep you far away. See, because you use it in a position where like they're not down on cooldowns, he's just getting tanked by his supports, right? And now you don't have like your Nemesis form to actually punch doing anything, right? Just because you use your shield really early. Unfortunate, I think Soldier gets picked really early. Not a whole lot you could do in that regard, right? But you definitely could have stalled and looked for like an opening somewhere else, right? I'll say if you stop looking at the tank so much, right, you'll stop taking so much damage from them, and that'll give you the resources to like look for an opportunity to like look for someone overextending someone else, right? For example, that last fight, maybe you can go in that hotel room and punish a Reaper that's flanking or something like that, right? You have all your HP. You're right, I guess you're typing your team. Yeah. Downtime. Right, don't even know what's around the corner, don't shield. Pretty good. You see how much more valuable that vortex is when you just don't throw it across the map, right? Get good old charge, right? This Reaper's kind of overextended. Right, not the best shield. So if you were just a bit more patient with your shield, you could be shielding right now. Shield here. I'm gonna bring it up this specific moment because your team just got a pick on the far right. So this is a really good opportunity if you go really aggressive to shield right here. And look how like good your sight lines are right now, right? You like shoot the Moira. If you see she fades, and she's like too close after fade, you just pop Nemesis. You see they're down to DPS, right? So they will punish you. Here, you really should be like getting rid of this Reaper. He's like the biggest threat to you. Let me replay and just show you how much this Reaper is missing, right? Okay, I guess part of it's armor. Actually, no, not yet. Let's see. See, he's like just playing so far away for no reason, even though he is Wraith. He could be farming you for a lot more than he is right now, right? You just need to get rid of this guy. He's your biggest threat, not the second one. It's fine, they use 2 support ults, not much you can do. Again, right, if they have tree... Right, I think Moira may have been killed with there, maybe not. I don't know why we stopped looking at Moira, right? Probably could have killed her. I'll say, I don't know if you noticed, Moira was like 10 HP. Unfortunately, like, I think Tree of Life got popped at the same time, which gave her like a lot of burst heal. And you also got booped out of the way by the fire, which kind of sucks, but it'll happen sometimes, right? Right, this problem here, I'll say here, if you remember, what I was talking about with like, if you see like the Reaper overextending here, you want to like LOS the people here, so like you can pretty much take a 1v5, or sorry, 5v1 against a Reaper with your team. You're kind of doing the opposite thing here of just running in too far where your team can't see you, right? The Moira is like here, right? Here-ish, right? You see like here, your team just can't see her, right? It's just you and the Moira. Your team is playing this angle here, which means they can't help you shoot the Moira when she's in this corner, right? So you're pretty much 1v1ing her. I know obviously the numbers aren't exactly like, it's not literally a 1v1, but functionally it is because they can't even see you to like help you do damage to her, right? Just something to keep in mind in the future. This is like something you definitely need to like keep in mind if you rank up, right? Yeah, you just have to keep in mind like where your teammates can like see the fight from, right? What in the world? Again, like you can see this Moira's frontlining, but like, your team can't see her, right? The cart's here, and like your soldier's dead, and she's just dancing between this cover and the cart, where like your team can't shoot her at all, right? Right, you see the fire is in your backline. You had to respond to the fact that your soldier is dead, and like give up space instead of just trying to like fight them in a 1v5, right? And also like respect the fact that like your team literally can't help you in this area anyways, right?
I tire of these games.
But still, the big problems were just like you're just mismanaging your cooldown still there too, right? Just using your Nemesis form for too early, blowing your shield, stuff like that, which just lets them walk, right? And just use your cooldowns early, they just don't have to fear you anymore. Okay, you already know what I'm going to say, right? Really bad cooldowns. Imagine if you just literally use them right now, right? Instead of, being a second or more patient. If this guy's in flux, do something else, right? I mean, he literally just goes above you and can't do him. Or cancel your Nemesis form and shoot him, right? Okay, that's kind of funny. You can run after him, right? Again, similarly to the thing I was talking about, your soldier fighting the Weaver on second offense, right? Just run into him, right? You literally can't die to him. Okay, I imagine that's a mistake, right? Oops. This is fine, right? Just kind of messing up your mechanics. I'd rather you put yourself in positions where you actually give yourself the opportunity to like force, try to force cooldowns, force kills, right? Yeah. If you mess up your mechanics, it's gonna happen sometimes. Yeah, perfect. Every single time you shoot, it's not gonna happen. Kind of like this shield. I don't know if it's intentional, but you blocked your healing. Yeah, nice. Yep. Did you lag out here or something? Maybe? Okay, unfortunately, I'm just gonna assume you lagged out there. It's unfortunate. Okay, so if you lagged out, right? Yeah, I mean, not much to say, obviously, but if you didn't, just don't run into the spawn, right? I highly suspect you lagged out there. Fun, right? Keep walking, right? This is a lot of downtime. Just typing your teammates, but if you want to win the game, don't bother. 99% of the time. Yeah, fine. Let's say in the Orisa matchup, right? When Orisa uses her gold, that's kind of like an ability you just want to wait out because she takes half damage in it, right? Like she's basically like a complete waste of time to try to engage when she uses it. The game plan against Orisa is basically just wait out her gold, and when she uses it, just like full commit onto her and just like run over. Okay. I like the attempt to try to shoot the Moira. Right. Nice. Good. So it's all fine, right? If I'm not saying anything, it's because it's more or less okay. I don't want to nitpick everything. Oops. I mean, even if you hit the vortex, the problem is, like, I know, like, this choke's really small, but if you hit the vortex, they literally just wait it out, right? Because they're just so far away across the map. That's another thing you need to keep in consideration when you go for these cooldowns. Like, if they can easily just LOS you, they're just not worth it. Right, again, if you haven't seen the Orisa use her gold, just don't use your Nemesis. She's basically indestructible when she uses Nemesis. Again, right, don't look at this Orisa. If you saw, there's healing coming to the right of your screen, right? Look at this horrible spot this Weaver's in, right? If you just chase these people away and just turn to the Weaver, right, he just dies. Like, there's nothing he can do to save himself in this position. Right, we're just chasing this Orisa across the map for no reason. I'll say because you just ignore the Weaver, you give him the opportunity to run away. Nice kill. Yeah, this fight isn't winnable. I just tried to stall cars as long as possible. Okay, I assume your team loses this fight. I actually didn't watch this part. I'll say if you turn for the Weaver there, you probably turn the fight, right? Because you kill the Weaver, come back, kill the Moira, and then like you just don't lose all your HP to the Reaper, right? So you can just stall card for longer and wait for your team to come back. When you have shield, don't be so afraid, right? Like I think that was a pretty decent shield. Let me walk back or rewind a bit. Just give angles on people, right? So you're like LOSing people, but just keep walking further to the right so you don't lose LOS. Right? No reason to keep like dancing around so much. Alright, nice. Right, ignore the Orisa, right? You just literally saw so many people to your left right now. What if instead of looking at the Orisa, because they still have a lot of time to come before they cap, you just like walk in here and just start attacking these people, right? It's just infinitely more valuable than attacking the Orisa. Like she can just get tanked, she's like really hard to kill. If your team's running forward, just run forward with them, right? Just be an extra distraction. Even if it's like not the best play. Obviously, if they run all the way into their spawn, don't. But like I don't know. your soldier's doing. That's crazy. Nothing to help that guy. I will say if you were a bit more aggressive there when you saw your entire team is running, maybe your distraction from shooting their spawn main, right? Because you're never going to die as a tank. It's not like they have an Ana or anything, or like a hog anymore that can just like blow you up from across the map, right? You can just shoot them to like distract them at the very least, so your soldier can maybe run away, right? He's probably dead no matter what, right? That's like his third or fourth attempt doing that this game, so. Nice. You see the difference here? Let me show you from your team's like an overhead perspective of how this looks compared to like the other times you were like quote unquote 1v1ing the Moira, right? Hopefully this is good enough. You see the Moira's frontlining now. You see she's getting shot by your Moira, your soldier, and your Ana, right? Because she's walking to the open where they literally all can see her, right? Like you see your entire team can see her, which is like really bad for her, right? And this is why she instantly dies this time compared to the times where she just lived forever on second point, right? That's like literally the difference. It's kind of that simple. Maybe seeing it that way, it makes it like really obvious of like how dumb that is, right? Ignore the reset, right? You saw the Weaver walk to your right side, right? Literally ignore, attack the Weaver. Alternatively, you could have turned for the Reaper too. That's alright. I'd rather you, if you notice you're missing people a lot, you know, just slow down for a second or whatever. Maybe play around with your sensitivity. But I'd rather you do the correct play than just shoot someone that's literally indestructible anyways, right? Because eventually, if you practice your mechanics, they'll get good enough where you can like actually climb. But just like shooting the tank in these positions where they're literally unkillable and no one else in your team is shooting them is just like literally a waste of time, right? Maybe even you still lose this fight, right? And lose the game, right? Because maybe you just can't kill the Reaper or the whatever in time, and they still just wipe your team anyways. But you have to keep in mind, one, there are a lot of other opportunities this game where you could have won fights if you played differently, and two, right, you're not going to win every single game, right? And just doing the right thing and getting better fundamentals is just more valuable than just like thinking one game at a time. I happen to miss this one game, so I'm not going to try anymore, and just start doing the wrong thing as a result, right? Okay, yeah, that's probably the end. Yep, that's the end. So, again, I'll reiterate, big two problems. You need to manage your cooldowns better, right? You like the gist of it, right? You're just wasting your shield and your vortex a lot. You want a shield to help you cross into open space to get angles on people, and you want to vortex people that are going to have a hard time running away, right? So you can get really consistent damage on them, or to like block their mobility, right? If they have vertical mobility or something. Nemesis form, right? If you don't have Nemesis form, do not push forward because you're very frail. And Nemesis form is your cooldown that gives you like really either very good survivability or like a way to consistently kill people, right? So that is like a really good opportunity to use Nemesis when you've seen people use their cooldowns, you know, either from your team forcing them out or you yourself forcing them out, right? That's kind of like the gist of it, right? Secondly, you really need to like work on your target priority, right? You really are just shooting the tank way too often, especially in like these mid-fight scenarios where you're just getting no value because they're just getting tanked, right? And the only value you are getting is because they're just like trolling and just like not using their cooldowns at all, right? Which is not something you should be looking forward or expecting to, if you want to climb, right? So yeah, I'm sure you can see this game. There are like so many opportunities for you literally to shoot someone else literally on your screen, or just walk like a few meters to your left or right and just attack someone else, right? And they're pretty like a lot of times obvious cues that you should have picked up on to like key you in to like go attack someone else, right? Because someone was close. Yeah, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions or any further questions, feel free to ask.